Hello, this is Danny Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide. This year's Civic had some interesting revelations regarding additional star systems. Expected was the reveal that Nix would be the next star system after Pyro. Quite unexpected was that Castor would be the next one after that. And neither expected nor unexpected was that the fifth planet in the set that would make up Star Citizen 1.0 would be Terra.
Considered by many to be the new jewel of the Empire, Terra has been a shining star against the more imperialistic tendencies of Earth, even in the darkest days of the Messer regime.
Now we got a fair deal of information and images of Castor as part of the planetary technology presentation, but no mention in that presentation about Terra. So I did some searching and found some really old concept art. And well, it isn't ugly so much as it is just painfully generic, as if it could serve as the paperback cover for a science fiction anthology. And I don't really want to blame the artist either. This was early, and the lore representing Terra was quite undeveloped. That is no longer the case, though. So let's build up from the foundation some thoughts about Terra. The first fundamental fact about Terra is that it is an intense rivalry with Earth to be seen as the cultural center of humanity, and even more so, assumed the position of capital of the UEE.
Now, many believe that Terra should be the new center of the UEE. I don't know how you all feel about that. Yeah. A lot of division.
This drive is central to the identity of Terra, and this sibling rivalry is what we are told is the core of what will be the main story arc of the persistent universe.
This will be a crafted story through the star systems and professions of the Star Citizen universe, taking players on an exciting adventure that will finally kick off the growing tension between Earth and Terra.
Now, there's an old adage: dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And believe it or not, that also applies to cities, and even presumably whole planets. So yes, the headquarters of the UEE Navy might be on Earth, but no effort or expense would have been spared by Terra in making the local UEE Navy centers so big and so impressive that it would be impossible not to feel that it could be, or even should be, the main headquarters, because, well, of course they would.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
Trying to look like it is indeed the successor to the great cultural and political centers of Earth. And this also in the light of the fact that the UEE itself seems to be obsessed with ancient Rome in how it names everything. Now, this might start to have you connecting the dots, but let me dig in anyway. First, with a general observation. Great government and cultural buildings and government centers are not towers. Almost always, they are sprawling mid-rise buildings surrounded by large aprons of plazas or green spaces to create impressive approaches and views. Commercial buildings, constrained by small plots of dense business zones, impress with their financial wealth by building tall. But civic institutions, essentially being able to obtain land at will, impress by dominating large sites. Tall elements are used in city centers for punctuation only. And this is not the first time things have happened this way in Earth's history. In 1790, Pierre L'Enfant was charged with creating a plan for a big plot of essentially swampland, specifically because it wasn't any place important. Not only that, but it had to be ready to be the seat of the federal government in less than 10 years. Thomas Jefferson had sketched out a small-scale plan for a cluster of federal buildings centered on a common public space along the banks of the Potomac River. But L'Enfant wanted a new Paris, unburdened by the many well-known problems of its medieval legacy infrastructure at the time, and a grand city to be the focus of the fractious individual states and a demonstration of the virtues of democracy to the world. The plan that he convinced George Washington on would not have the walls and parapets to keep the public out, but broad public malls and boulevards framing views towards the main monuments of the city, including the halls of Congress and the presidential mansion. When choosing among competing designs of these buildings, they favored strong references to the original democracy in Athens, with clear references to the Parthenon and the Acropolis, including colonnades, pediments, and the use of long processional staircases framing views. However, the plan was so ambitious it would be close to the 20th century before the city really resembled L'Enfant's original plan. Interestingly, when Baron Philippe Haussmann ripped out most of the urban fabric of Paris to finally address the many problems of Paris's infrastructure, he heavily borrowed from L'Enfant's Washington, D.C., with its diagonal network of broad boulevards between the focal points. But interestingly, Haussmann was serving an emperor, so the most significant locus of these boulevards was not a nod to Greek temples, but rather a pretty much exact copy of a Roman triumphal arch. Even in the most recent attempts to create master-planned capital cities like Brasilia, the quotations of L'Enfant's and Haussmann's designs are obvious. So without getting into the actual planning of the city, although there will certainly be denser commercial, industrial, and residential areas outside of the main area, the distinguishing focus of the planet, the place that will separate it from Arcorp, Hurston, and the rest, and thus the place which will be the focus of the main storyline, is a massively oversized government center presenting itself as a capital in waiting to the rest of the UE, with impressive institutional structures for museums, universities, and administration surrounding wide tree-lined boulevards framing views towards the primary monuments, the whole of which will include lots of nods and quotations, if not outright copies, of ancient Roman structural forms, aqueducts, colonnades, rotundas, triumphal arches, amphitheaters, and such. But it doesn't, and certainly shouldn't, look like a generic science fiction city. There is simply so much visual exposition that can be done just from the look of the city. And now for the update on our ship giveaways, we have the Raise Captain's giveaway for a pair of VKB Space Combat Edition joysticks, which is advancing smoothly towards its goal, as well as our regular Grow the Channel ship giveaways with Zippy Zazzy Zaftig Zephyr, the Zeus 2 CL, now in the game, in which I'm really looking forward to giving away as soon as we hit that 15,000 subscription goal. And then beyond that, the 20,000 subscriber goal for the winner's choice in the marvelous multi-role mining meta, the Arasta, or that brand new big box bargain bazaar called the Merchantman. One entry per video, be a member for automatic entry, or subscribe and comment, somehow including the secret word. And the secret word for this video is a type of book I thought the old concept art for Terra could be used as the cover for. Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse. This is Daniel Raymond for Ray's Guide.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.